In the event that an assignment cannot be put in Google Classroom, we are also going to have a central pickup day where we can have families come and pick up things that may not be able to be done digitally. And that there will be a schedule of that. Packets would be available if a packet is needed for pickup. Um, we will provide a direct video connection to the classrooms during the time the child is unable to attend classes. Um, will there be a scheduled time or rotation to allow students to take off their masks just to inhale fresh air? Yes, we will. We will have a scheduled time for those rotations for students to take off their masks. Um, in the mask guidance, I do believe they say 10-minute mask breaks can be taken throughout the day, and obviously for eating. But yes, we will have mask breaks for the students. We definitely do not want them to be rebreathing their CO2. Um, so I'm just making sure that I have the questions. So there will be a direct video connection. We have been testing that connection as teachers have been coming, and we've been testing it to make sure it works within the classroom, but also to make sure it works from a distance. Um, I will be reaching out to a handful of families to see if they can help us out and do. Right now, currently the distance is from the classroom to my office. So we'd like to test it even further and make sure that off of the property there are no issues. So I will be reaching out to a handful of families. If anybody wants to volunteer for that next Tuesday, we are doing a test run of some of the teachers' computers with the video connection, and I would love to have some sprightly students help with that. Google Meet will be utilized for that video connection. And students will utilize the online components of textbooks where available. But if a student does better with the textbook in front of them, we will send that textbook home with them. Oh, I just have a lot of volunteers here. Do we have a contingency plan if things change and we all are required to go virtual again? Yes, we do have a contingency plan. We would still follow the school schedule. The kids would still follow their school schedule. Obviously, the school schedule looks different for what is the science word? Oh yes, I'm sorry. If you're sending me private messages, I think I'm in the wrong window for that. Oh no, I will go back and check all my messages. But we will have a contingency plan for if everything goes virtual. We are working on a plan for the families that are choosing the virtual. We are working on a plan to make sure that the devices are there and that there is a device pickup, packet pickup, because it's going to be more than just the device. If necessary, online assessments will be provided and timely feedback will be supplied. The biggest thing is regular communication. We have to have regular communication with parents, guardians, to and from the teacher, to and from me, just regular communication, especially the virtual, somebody's sick. We need to make sure that we are doing what we need to make sure our kids are not falling behind. If the kids are doing virtual, do they need to be in gym uniforms on gym days? We're still trying to figure out that gym option. The gym's phys ed is the hardest one for the virtual, but we are working with it. During the live stream, will virtual students be able to interact with their teachers, or will they be one-way streaming? The teachers will be able, we are working on, and that's one of the features of Google Meet that they've added, where you can screen share but also see the students. So we are actually, and that's why I'd like to have a couple of students test it out to make sure that we are using it and how that works on their end. But we are able to have the teachers and students, the students would be able to answer questions, teacher check with them. So it is two-way, but it is great to be able to test that out before we have to go with it on day one. So we will be, that's one of the things I want to test next week with having students involved in that. Some guidelines. The children will be logged into the classes at their scheduled time. We are looking to minimize the number of times the students have to log into a particular stream by having it be one central. So it would be first grade's Google Meet, and then the specials teachers would use that same one. So there would be no need to log out and log back in. Schedules will be available when we do the pickup. We'll have the schedules out for families so they know what that looks like. As I said, with pre-K families, I have a 3-year-old. Having him sit in front of a screen all day is not happening. So with that, we are developing our plan with the pre-K and how that virtual is really going to work. And we will be working out those details. With the two-way, it will be, they'll be able to interact. So they'll be able to do the circle time, the social distance circle time, and activities. But there's also breaks throughout the day where they do have that play. And so with the play, they would be breaks throughout the day. And those would be looking at the schedule and going from there. The teachers will be live streaming their classes. Lessons will not be recorded. Students are to be dressed in their uniform with cameras on so the teacher can see the student. This helps so that the teachers can see if the student is having issues with something. We know that the students are there doing the work. It helps with the taking attendance and making sure that everything is okay. Students are to be seated in a room at a desk, table, or counter. The space needs to be quiet and free from distractions. I'm notorious for trying to do work and watch TV at the same time. It doesn't always work. So TVs, gaming devices, etc. need to be off. All assignments, homework must be completed and submitted on the days that they are scheduled to be done. If something comes up, there has to be communication with the teachers so that they are aware. All assessments, tests, quizzes must be done when the rest of the class is doing them and submitted at the end of the class period. We are, that would be why I am sitting in my office during this meeting, because I would probably be trying to watch TV too. I am notorious at multitasking. So I did have to bring myself into work to do this so that I could concentrate on on all the questions. So the teachers are working on their Google Classrooms now. They're working on getting all that stuff set up so that we can make it a seamless transition at the start of the year. I keep clicking the wrong button. With the distance learning, in the event that we would go brick and mortar learning transitions to distant learning, fingers crossed it does not. We are committed to educating the students toward moral responsibility, global awareness, academic excellence, technological understanding, and responsible social participation in a nurturing, passionate Catholic environment. So all teachers would follow a synchronous and asynchronous blended learning, which would mean they would be on for classes, they would teach the topic, they would give an activity, they would be there to support the child throughout the day. We would follow with the distant learning model, obviously full cooperation with daily participation, adherence to the schedule, and attendance will be taken. The regular schedule of classes will be followed. We would still use the Google Classroom platform along with the Google Meet. We would not change that. We would not want to add that confusion. We would have the virtual learning guidelines and expectations, which were talked about or I went into, would be part of that. There will be training for the parents, especially with our younger grades who did not have the experience with the Google Classroom or as much experience with the Google Classroom in the spring. We want you to be comfortable with using that so that in the event that there is a question,